Student voice has increasingly become important in this school. When I started here 8 years ago, the children didn't have a voice in the school. I mean, their voice wasn't heard. It started at a very grassroots level and has just developed over the years. Initially there were some student observations, and then that didn't work too well, and then there was a suggestion of a questionnaire. We piloted the questionnaire, and then the video has come to actually show that working in practice.
The minute you give them a camera, it gives them ownership of the process, gives them the opportunity to really begin to film what they themselves, but also their peers and other students across the year groups think. I think in terms of which teaching and learning styles work best, I think the beauty of a project such as this is it does give students the opportunity to explore the ones that work for them. And the one thing that struck me in doing this is the sheer range of strategies that work with children.
Sergeant Nick Sandron, I'm here to arrest you all.
Student voice is very important here at Hanham High. That's why I think it's significant that the questionnaire was a school council idea. We interviewed some of the members to see their motivations behind the project.
So why did you develop the questionnaire?
We originally developed the questionnaire a year ago in order for the students to have a voice and to give feedback on lessons that they'd just had. It gave the teacher a chance to really understand what the students thought and any improvements or suggestions that they could give. It's important to stress that the teachers also took this questionnaire very seriously and the perspectives and opinions of the students. The senior team were very much involved, and the head teacher and the deputy heads took each questionnaire and the member of staff into a discussion and suggested improvements and ways to benefit the lesson. Some students did not take it that seriously and gave mock answers. However, those that genuinely participated would have greatly benefited from the experience.
What were the initial stages that you went through when developing the questionnaire?
Well, I've been on the school council now for 3 years, and we've always encountered this problem where student voice isn't getting aired nearly enough. So first of all, we piloted a scheme where we sat in on lessons, one of our counsellors, and we observed it, taking into account what went well, what went wrong, and tried to imagine a perfect lesson from these. However, we only took into account our perspective and not that of the pupils who are actually in the lesson, which is obviously what counts. So we developed this questionnaire, which means that pupils can write down their thoughts and ideas, which avoids confrontation between teacher and pupil and between pupil and their other peers.
All the teachers were really enthusiastic about the project, and it quickly became embedded in their lesson structure. We spoke to an English teacher, Miss Croft, who discussed her thoughts and ideas about the project, and we filmed inside her class as they completed the questionnaire.
What do you think are the benefits of a project like this for the pupils?
I think the benefits are twofold, really. Firstly, it helps the students to develop these kind of critical skills and analysing what they're seeing. Secondly, it gives them a real say in what's going on, and I think often they don't feel they've got that, or they don't feel that's very real, that opportunity. But this gives them a situation in which they can clearly see something happening from what they've said, which is fantastic.
What do you think are the benefits for people such as yourself and your colleagues, your teachers involved?
Personally, I'd say it's continuing professional development. A fantastic way of helping my teaching is by hearing what students say about it, and I can then feed that back into what I deliver next time for them.
What issues or action points do you think might come out of this project for pupils, teachers, the school as a whole?
I think it's going to promote the idea of a dialogue between teacher and student, and I hope that that becomes something that becomes ingrained in the culture of the school, so that all students feel they can go to their teacher and comment on what's happening.
A few days after the lesson, we held a focus group with some of Miss Croft's class, so the children could discuss their thoughts and opinions on the project with their teacher.
How did you find this process of giving you questionnaires?
It was good because it gives you the chance to tell the teacher what you think on the classes and what you should do in the lessons.
Okay, so did you enjoy being able to have a say in what went on in that lesson?
Yeah, I enjoy having a say in what I do in the lesson because it helps you to learn in your own way. And even if you need help, Miss will come and help you with what you need.
Yeah, definitely. It means that I can improve my teaching, and it means that as a class we can hopefully improve your learning. Fantastic.
Enjoy it more.
You enjoy it more, yeah, because that's so important, isn't it? Good, that's great, Tom. How did you feel about actually filling in the questionnaire? Did you feel you could say what you wanted to say?
Yeah, I felt like I could say more because I would feel like kind of uncomfortable to confront a teacher. But like saying it in like a polite way as well and writing it down so they can improve, it feels like better.
Good. So you think it helped that it was anonymous and that helped
you be more confident.
Good. Just thinking about the lesson then, was there anything that you particularly liked in that lesson?
I liked having the objectives up on the boards because they give you an idea of what you're doing and how it helps you. I also enjoyed having the freedom to do what I liked in the lesson and work independently.
Okay, so the fact that there was a lot of independent learning taking place.
Working with others.
Yeah, working with others. And you got the opportunity to kind of share what you were doing and improve each other's work.
And if you got stuck, you'd have someone next to you that you could talk to as well.
Yeah, good. So you helped each other out and you helped each other's speeches to be as good as possible, didn't you? Fantastic. Was there anything that prevented you from learning in that lesson?
Sometimes other children misbehave a bit, but it's sorted out quickly. So
Okay, so it's other children's misbehaviour can distract you from work. Okay, well that's something that I'll focus on. And can you tell me, is there anything in particular that I'm doing in the classroom that really helps you to learn?
Well, I think as a class we're all learning pretty well because when you're at the front, like people contribute to like the class and I think everyone understands the lesson really well and finds it enjoyable as well.
Overall, we think the questionnaire has been a real success and we plan to continue using and developing it in the coming years.
I think the fact they've been involved in something so high profile has really promoted the ethos of student voice and really promoted what the school's trying to do.
So fantastic of that.
Yeah, they've really, really enjoyed it.
It's created a real buzz. I mean, there's a real sense in which these students, not just the Year 13 media studies students, but all the students that have been involved, and then students that haven't been directly involved, but are kind of friends of friends, etc. There's a sense in which they've got a real buzz from doing it.
And I think their confidence too. They're much more confident to speak out when they've had to face a camera and face that challenge. You know, they're more confident speaking out in their year councils and school councils too. It's probably lessons as well, I would imagine.
And even the students that aren't involved in the school council, their confidence has grown because of the ethos we've created, whereby we want their feedback through the questionnaires. They feel that that it's becoming a culture where it's okay to tell the teachers what they want.
What difference do you think it makes with their relationships with teachers?
I think it's a measure really of how the school has moved forward, and relationships now between children and the teachers in this school I think are good. Looking at the evidence we have with our exit surveys, it's something that children really value and appreciate. They feel relationships between staff generally, not just the teachers, but staff generally and them in the school are good.
I know it is a teacher and you have to respect a teacher, but if you communicate more, you feel more respect in that you could talk to them to improve your lesson, and like you won't be as shy, so you could put your hand up and have a one-on-one with your teacher and not hold back anything to tell them like the whole truth. And it's just trust really, and with trust I think lessons will be more enjoyable.
Lucy, it's a bit of a challenge as a teacher to be videoed by pupils and maybe your practice exposed in this particular way. How do you cope with it?
I felt more apprehensive about distributing the questionnaires to my students than I did about being filmed. Certainly, as I collected them back in and the students left the room, I thought, gosh, am I brave enough to look at these? I've now got 30 students that have said something about my lesson, absolutely anonymously, and they could have said anything they wanted.
Do you think they really would say anything they wanted?
Well, I think it's important that you give them the opportunity to say whatever they want and that you're brave enough to take that. I think as a teacher you've got to be fairly thick-skinned anyway. I think you've got to be fairly brave and fairly confident. I think also, in my experience, the students have been quite sensitive to providing constructive criticism and not just sort of insulting their teachers for the sake of it. I think they've taken it quite seriously, and I think they've realised that it's going to help future lessons, so it's therefore more important for them to say something useful.
I look forward to it more now since we've had the questionnaires and the student voice. It's definitely more, we look forward to lessons because we know that there'll be something that we do like to do in it.
And it's like we've had input, so we could change the lessons to make it fun, and we enjoy lessons more now.
Yeah.
I find.
Do you think it's the same with everybody?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It is with most people,
How do you think this would work in performance management terms?
When teachers make judgments about their teaching with their team leader for performance management, I think it would be fine for a teacher to say, look, my questionnaires are showing me that I'm doing really well in this aspect of my work and perhaps need to improve in another aspect. That's fine, but I wouldn't want the questionnaires to be produced as evidence or some form of, well, let me see your questionnaires, let's have a look and see what people are saying. So it's down to the teacher really to use the outcomes and their own learning to inform their performance management objectives and outcomes.
So it's an informal sense of assessment, a personal sense.
Yes.
But what do you think is the actual value of using video for a research project? I mean, in this instance, about student voice.
Video is a really great tool for capturing things at quite candid moments, and I think it's largely through that really you're able to access reflective practice in its best sense. And you could almost, if you like, build up a body of material that would help to inform the process of curriculum development and the way that you address the children's feelings about that curriculum. So.
And I hate to mention it, but dead handy for Ofsted.
But, well, yeah, very. Yeah, very.
If you're using handheld camera, you can be a bit more fluid with it and get in and ask somebody to pick up from where they were with a question. So just ask them to hold. So if we have a look at that, so if we start recording.
I think.
Can you just stop a second? I'm really going down here.
I think the commendation scheme helps because people have got stuff to work towards. So if they've done one bit of good work, they got a commendation, then they can do some more, and then they've got a prize to work towards.
Yeah, like really motivate. And stop again. There we go.
I think if it's wrong, at least I've had a go and I will get accommodation for trying.
Hey, can you stop? Just need to get a close-up on you as well.
So that's good then, because not only are you being more challenged, which makes lessons more engaging, you're also getting praised for your effort as well as actual achievement.
That's what you need to not be afraid of doing, is just being able to jump in
So,
and
what sort
follow the
of
conversation. But now you can pull back out for the workshop
I mean, they just do this, do that.
and let you get a variety of shots.
We're not really.
Paul, why did you decide to undertake this video project?
Well, I think sorry.
Do you want the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Paul, why did you decide to be an undertaker?